You know, something about
Third time's the charm, brother.
Yeah, those words.
Yeah, that was a lie.
So, yeah. We'll see where we get there in a second. Maybe me trying to do this in 60 frames wasn't the best idea. Hopefully 30 will help.
That could be doing it.
Could be. It definitely could be. So,
dude, I found the game. Get Romancing Saga 3, bro.
I don't think I want that. Okay,
Just,
looks like we are back on live on Facebook. We should be live in YouTube in a second. And we'll hope for the best. Worst case, I'll just have to edit these together and get it fixed. Yeah. Trying to play some League today, Manny?
Some TFT?
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
What was that? What was the thing that you said?
League. You know, like League of Legends.
What is
TFT?
It? League of Legends?
Yeah, good job, buddy.
What is that? Is that like a new game? What is that?
It's been out for a couple months. Couple months now. Yeah. Start of the year.
Okay. Nah, I'd rather play TFT.
Yeah, it's fair. It's understandable. Who wouldn't? Stream health is looking really good. We're still not live on YouTube quite yet, so we'll give that a couple more seconds.
Nah, down with the YouTube overlords. Rise from the ashes, my brothers, and reclaim your freedom.
Okay. We're live on YouTube. It's good. Making some progress. One of these days will be the day it all clicks and it all works and we never have issues again. But until then.
See, that'll happen, but we'll already be back at your house filming the show together.
You right. You're not wrong. You're right. But
so that I'm telling you, man, it's Discord. I'm telling you.
You know what? Here next week,
I've been saying it for months.
Is to attempt a new communication service that we can still see each other's faces. So yeah,
FaceTime, baby.
FaceTime, nice. So yeah, if anyone out there right now can let us know, hey, you know, this service, this app, this application is really good for video calls, conferences, whether that's something like Zoom or Skype. We'll try whatever.
What up, Zoom?
Zoom?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Use it all the time.
I know you do. Because you're a working man.
Yeah. Door calls seem good, but I don't know how streaming with it'll be. I mean, it doesn't use a whole lot of CPU. Like Discord, I love Discord. I love the layout, the UI, everything with Discord is great, but it uses 40 to 70% of my CPU for some reason. Don't get me wrong, this is not a great computer. This is like a 2017 pre-bought computer from Best Buy. So, it's nothing fancy. You would hope that it could work Discord. All right, so I think we're ready to jump back into what we were speaking of before. And I believe we kind of left off right around the PlayStation sale, the whole PlayStation Summer Sale, $10 store credit that Sony dropped in everyone's wallets this week. So yeah, just a big, big thing for everyone on PlayStation now. I would definitely go check that out, see what's on sale, even if there's nothing on sale. Go buy a DLC you've been wanting to play. Go just enjoy that free $10 with...
or go buy Rainbow Six Siege Deluxe Edition for $10.
Okay, there you go. You can go try new games, play new things, have fun with it. But I think we're going to go ahead and move on over to one of the most anticipated stories for me this week. I'm very excited about number 4.
Number 4.
Honestly, number 4 might be the most hyped story of the week. So, during Comic-Con's digital event, we got teased the return of one of the most beloved gaming outlets in history. G4TV. That's right. The old video game-centered TV network teased a 2021 comeback with a cinematic teaser with the tagline, "We never stopped playing." The long-dormant Twitter accounts for G4 as well as Attack of the Show and X-Play all have the same taglines on their profiles as well, meaning the two shows might be seeing a comeback with the revitalized network.
All right, guys. GG. That's it. We're closing down the news.
We did it. We did it. We did it. We brought it back. We brought it back, everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. We did it. We've been asking for it for years, since it shut down 6 years ago.
Attack of the Show.
We brought it back.
G4TV was my go-to channel growing up. That was my favorite thing. Because how long was it out? Like, good 5 years, I want to say?
It was more than that. It was like 10, 11.
Really?
I just looked into it the other day. It was like early 2000s it came out, and it didn't officially close down until 2014.
Oh, okay. It didn't officially close out. Okay. Because it shows the original start of it was 2002. So, yeah. A very solid 12 years possibly. Yeah, it's weird because on here it shows original release was 2002, 2005. Maybe it shut down for like a little bit and then came back. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of information, but it shows... yeah, G4TV. Okay, I don't know, but again, I just remember watching this when I was really little, and I was always so excited. Like this to me was like having, you know, Comic-Con, E3 all year round. There was always little things you always got to figure out, which was always so much fun, so exciting. And I really do think G4TV is like a little reason why we do this show, is because we love that so much, and that was gone, and we're like, yeah, let's have a new, exactly, that's what this is supposed to be, like just a news outlet for people for gaming. And G4TV is something that really, it blew me away when I was little. I was like, people really care about video games as much as I do. Like I guess that was the big thing for me. And
it was like the stepping stone of making gaming like a normal thing in pop culture.
Yeah.
Right. And growing up watching it, you know, you didn't really appreciate how much there was to that network. You know, they talked about games that when I was little I probably would have never heard of or ever seen before. But now with, you know, there being so many releases in gaming all year round, like that network, like if there's rumors it might be an online network, not a TV network again, but you know, however they revitalize G4, there's going to be so much content for them to work with and cover that it'll definitely, you know, pull the audience, both old and new, to it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And yo, hey G4, want to bring us on?
We got a few years of experience. Is all I'm saying.
But I'm really excited for this. It's gonna be fantastic. And then from there, we'll go ahead and move on to our big story this week. The really big one, the one we teased at the start of the show, and then it's going to be 4.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5. Microsoft and Xbox finally gave their fans a glimpse of the future with their Xbox Game Showcase, showcasing over 20 games that will all be playable on the Xbox Series X as well as PC. I think that's the first, before we even jump into games, that's one thing to take note of, because you know, Brandon was among one of the people that didn't know that all of these games that we're going to talk about are playable on PC, which was a big thing that Xbox kind of pivoted to towards the end of the Xbox One's life cycle. Here is that they want their exclusives to be playable on both platforms.
Which I think is really exciting. I think this will be a great way for them to make more money. I know it might sound a little goofy to say that, but yes, myself, I might not go spend $400-500 now to go buy an Xbox. However, there is a real chance. There is a very real chance that I might have a Game Pass subscription, or whatever the proper term for it. You know, $15 a month.
That's for Ultimate.
Years. Yeah. So I really might do that, because there's gonna be some great games on here. I mean, there were some very good games that were shown on here. You know, of course, Halo. I mean, coming into this, Halo was what we were waiting for. This is what everyone wanted to see. This is what we wanted to get a little more about, a little more understanding what's going on.
And they went bold. They said, "We know you guys want Halo. We're gonna kick off this show with Halo,"
which was huge.
Which is bold in the sense that, you know, you could have a large amount of your audience just leave after that. They're like, got what we want, we're done, we're out, we don't care about the rest.
Yeah.
But we did get our first look at Halo Infinite campaign gameplay. It was around 9 minutes of gameplay in total. The big, the big change for this game is that this game is going to be open world, and you are going to be able. It does seem to kind of have a little bit of a free flow to the smaller campaign missions that aren't directly tied to the storyline. So a big kind of change in philosophy with the Halo campaign. But they did say the size of this campaign is going to be significantly bigger than the last couple Halo games combined. So there's going to be a lot of content in this story. So how do you feel about that, first and foremost?
That was something that did kind of, I don't know, like made me a little sad, I guess. I have been a little more for like the idea of Halo being, a structured chapter story-based game. And I know open world is kind of the big thing at this point. Of course, with games like Assassin's Creed, it being more open world, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, just like as a general whole there, Red Dead, there is a story to them, but there is, a lot of freedom, which might be good. It really might be. It might be that refresher that we need for Halo to kind of get the story campaign feeling a little more alive again. And for what they showed, it looked beautiful. It really did. And I like that they really focused on the like having some Covenant, the brutes in there. They really showed off a lot of like the fan favorite enemies that you'll go up against. But it being open world does just kind of worry me. I'm a little scared that the story isn't going to be as compelling. It's going to be a little bit more about, hey, there's so much to do, which is cool. It is nice to have that. I don't know. I'm excited. I will be getting it on PC. Of course, the day it comes out on PC, I will be getting it. And I'm really excited to kind of see a little bit more of the multiplayer aspect to it. That's what I would really like to kind of see, what they're doing, what they're changing. It does look like it's going back to OG Halo. I didn't see... I might be drawing a blank on maybe some parts, but for everything I watched, I don't remember seeing any sort of like abilities and stuff. I mean, unless I'm wrong. Like, is there anything I'm just missing?
I mean, Master Chief had a grappling hook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the grappling, that's fair. I was thinking...
And there were...
Go ahead.
Well, and there were like utilities that he used, like that big wall.
Yeah.
That he was able to shoot through and not get shot at through, things like that.
Okay, sorry. I should rephrase, instead of like equipment type things, it being actual like, jump packs or dashes and stuff. It was a little bit more of like Halo 3 equipment with the bubble shield, a little more adaptive bubble shield you can shoot through. The grappling hook is, in a sense, a little bit more of like a movement ability. So, after watching Halo 5 Guardians and playing Halo 4, when they were coming out, when the trailers came out, I didn't get excited. I was kind of okay, whatever. It's Halo, it'll still be fun. This one did get me kind of excited at moments. I guess I don't know. I am a little more worried than I thought I would be after it.
I think that's fair. I'm totally fine. I'm always on board with game series evolving and wanting to give people better experience. So for me, the open world part doesn't matter to me all that much. I do agree though, with open world games, it can lead to people not feeling as immersed in the story as you would if you just had a linear a storyline. So that could change things a little bit for some people. But I do like that they are giving a new perspective on the campaign for the game. One thing that I saw a lot of people were giving Microsoft and 343 flack for was the lack of just graphic fidelity in the game. Like, there was a lot of people posting screenshots from the gameplay demo and showing how underwhelming it looked, and how this demo was apparently played on a PC that was built to simulate the quality of an Xbox Series X, and people are surprised at the lack of you know, realism in the human character that you see in the game and things like that, and the lack of, you know, quality in the graphics. I guess the lack of detail in the graphic quality. And somebody even went as far as to post a picture of Joel from The Last of Us 2 side by side with the human, I don't remember if we got his name or not, from the Halo trailer, and how, like, you know, you have I don't know, like, it was whatever the 12 teraflops that you're gonna have on the Series X versus the 1.8 you have right now on a PS4 Pro, and how much of a difference there is in, you know, the details that they put into the characters.
That is kind of one thing I did notice, like, when we were watching. I was like, his, like, either his, like, perfect complexion kind of thing or something, but, like, it did seem very flat, like, in his face. There wasn't a whole lot to him.
Yeah, the graphic quality, they definitely didn't try to shoot for realism, which is very, very un-Halo like. You know, Halo 4 looked better than probably half the games on the current gen consoles. Halo 4 looked incredible.
Yeah.
Halo 5 even looked really good. Halo 5 didn't have wasn't head and shoulders above the rest of the industry like I felt like Halo 4 was when it came out, but it was still very, very quality, you know, game. Whereas now it feels like they're, and I'm sure this has to do with them expanding the scale of the game, but they've kind of scaled back on pushing, you know, the boundaries of the systems like they used to.
I will agree. I will also say, though, I don't ever felt like I watched or played a Halo game trying to be like, oh my goodness, these graphics are crazy. I always kind of put that aside because I knew it was, you know, a little more, because it's Halo, it is unrealistic in senses. But, like, looking back at Halo 3 stuff, I mean, like, some of the characters, I mean, because there's comparisons with this Halo Infinite character and then, like, Sergeant Johnson, and it's like Halo 3 Sergeant Johnson and this dude don't look that much different from each other, to be honest. And there's also a photo of, like, 2013 Far Cry. No, sorry, it was, I think, Crysis Nexus character, and the Crysis one looked better. So then it's kind of, I mean, we'll see if there's, like, some sort of overhaul, you know, cleanup at the end.
And there were some people, there was, like, defenders of the franchise, like, you know, who cares if it doesn't look amazing? Like, it's still Halo, and it's still gonna be really fun. And there's other people that are like, look, dude, like, this is Microsoft's baby. This is their staple IP. This is the franchise that has built their brand for the past 20 years. And, you know, and you would think they would give that studio everything it needs to make that game as incredible as possible. So I lean a little bit more towards, like, it's Halo. It, like, you should make this, like, this should be the best looking game to come out on these platforms at launch. And I don't think it's gonna be. And that's not to diminish what the game's gonna be in terms of, like, the fun gameplay and things like that, but I don't think it's wrong to hold, you know, the studio responsible for Halo accountable for not making this game look great.
And this is one of the reasons that, to start the show, I said underwhelming, because watching the demo, watching the show, there was no moment where I was like, oh man, they're doing this in Halo. But there was no moment I was like, oh my god, like, I jumped out of my chair and was like, this is gonna be amazing. And, like, none of us were talking about Halo in chat this week. Like, I was expecting this to be like, oh my goodness, the only thing we're talking about until the show is here, and we cannot wait to talk about it. I'll be honest, my most exciting thing to talk about the showcase is probably the next game we'll kind of dive into a little bit, is that we got some sort of Fable news. And I've never even played Fable before. I've watched a lot of Fable. I've heard you guys talk about Fable, how amazing it is. I'm super excited to play Fable, and I'm more excited about that than I was the Halo showcase. Again, nothing looks bad with it. It's just nothing blows me away.
And we have a lot of things to unpack with Fable. that they wrapped up the show with. But we're gonna kind of go through the meat of the show in between, talk about the little things. The second game that they talked about, actually, I was actually really happy to see, because it's a franchise that I like, and I'm looking forward to, now that I have a PC that can play these games well, I'm looking forward to getting into it. And that's that they announced a State of Decay 3. Only 2 or 3 years after the game, the second one launched, which is really awesome. Gave a really, really, really good looking cinematic trailer for the game. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it at all. I wasn't expecting it to be a State of Decay. I was like, new IP zombie game? But no, State of Decay 3, and it looks really, really cool. We didn't get very many details. We just got a CGI trailer, but that is exciting to see that they already have the next game in the works for next gen. Then you had and this announcement actually made me worried that there wasn't going to be a Fable announcement until I realized the studio that was making the game, and that's that they revealed there's going to be a new Forza game that's just called Forza Motorsport right now. Again, pretty vague on the details of it. These two games probably we won't see for at least, I would say, probably 2 years, since we have really no details or look of the game. Forza, I would actually say I wouldn't be surprised if we see it in the next year. But I think State of Decay is going to be one we won't see for a little bit. After that, we had Everwild, which is a game from Rare. And there's actually a little bit of, I guess you can say, controversy with this game, because they showed off another cinematic trailer for the game. I believe they talked about this game around the Game Awards, if I remember right. But they showed off a new cinematic trailer, but they didn't really explain much about the actual game and what it's going to be like. And there's apparently like news stories that came out and rumors coming out that Rare doesn't even know what this game's going to be yet, and that we're not going to see it for a while, because they haven't even figured out what this game's actually going to be in terms of the gameplay, which
our people do
is
not know how.
a little concerning. But the game itself, the art style is really, really nice. Visually, it looks great. So it's something I'll keep an eye on personally. I think it looks really cool. But then again, I thought Sea of Thieves would be cool, and I played it, and I didn't really like it because there's nothing to do in Sea of Thieves. So we'll have to see. Any of those three that you were like, you gave a little like the eye emoji to, you were like, interesting.
No, I'm still waiting for us to get to a certain game. There honestly, like, it shocked me more than anything. There is a game in here that even like when the stuff was going on, I was working and had the video on to my side, and I saw it pop up my screen. I grabbed my phone, guys, and I was like, I can't believe it's happening. So far, nothing really yet that like kind of got me excited. I mean, Forza games are cool. Like, I'm not in a race. In the racing games I liked was Gran Turismo. Turismo.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, thank you, Turismo. Those games are beautiful. Like, Forza games look really great. State of Decay is something I've never really watched. I'll be honest. I don't really know a whole lot about it. It's one of those games I would need to watch some videos on, understand what State of Decay has been, and then maybe I would get State of Decay 3, since if you were getting it.
Hey, I mean, if we go and jump on Game Pass, we can play 2 right now. It's pretty fun. It's like up to 4-player co-op. Think, it's up to 4-player co-op, big open world. It's, you have all these different missions to do. There's all these different zombie types you'll find out in the open world, and it's like part open world RPG, part like managing a settlement.
Okay.
And they kind of like blend those two together. So it's fun. I really liked the first one. I haven't gotten a chance to play the second one because I kind of wanted to play it co-op, but I think it's fun. I think it's worth a play. So next few games we have Tell Me Why from Don't Nod, the people that made Life is Strange. It's going to be a new 3-chapter interactive story type game like the Telltale games that we've seen in the past, and Life is Strange and things like that. Next, they announced a Xbox Series X enhanced version of Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is apparently one of the best games to come out so far this year. I haven't gotten a chance to play it myself, but it has been one of the, the original was one of one of the most highly touted indie games to come out, period. So not surprising to see there's a lot of anticipation for an enhanced version for the new system. And then next we get a trio of announcements from Obsidian, who, if you guys remembered, they were the ones that made Fallout New Vegas, right? I'm not going crazy. That was Obsidian?
I will double check.
I got it. Yeah, Obsidian.
Yep.
So, Obsidian was acquired by Microsoft. They're part of the Microsoft Studios now, or Xbox Studios, whatever they're calling it, one of the two. And they had a trio of announcements during the game showcase. The first being that they announced for one of the first of two Outer Worlds expansions, story expansions, called the Paralon Gorgon. It's coming out September 9th. I'll just read this little blurb from IGN. It says, this noir-flavored adventure takes players to the Gorgon asteroid location and provides new quests, weapons, armor, perks, and flaws. Xbox Game Pass subscribers can get the Outer Worlds expansion or the full expansion pass, which contains at least one more adventure for a 10% discount. So there are two other announcements. This one was probably this game actually was in early access, like closed beta for a little bit. And now it's coming to, it was alpha testing, and now it's going into early access on Tuesday, the 28th. It's called Grounded. So it's a co-op survival game. Think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yep.
In a survival game. So you play you play a group of kids that get shrunk down to mini size, and they have to survive and try to find their way to get back to normal size. And so there's base building elements in it, there's crafting, gathering, all that mixed into it. And there was a lot of combat that they showed of you having to fight like ants and like other bugs and things like that throughout this adventure. And it actually looks really cool.
It really does.
I gotta say, that was probably like the most interesting announcement to me, because it was just something I would have never like thought would work as well as it is. But I gotta say, Grounded actually looks really cool.
For how many different elements are to this game is what kind of was getting me excited. There is really a lot to do, it seems. And again, like the base building, the crafting aspect, definitely kind of bring on that extra layer that I think this game would need, and it does look really enjoyable. I'm happily surprised while watching this event of, okay, wow, like I've never even heard of this game before, and this looks like it could be an extremely exciting game. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on Grounded, and I could definitely see myself getting it.
And the last of the trio of announcements from Obsidian, this was the biggest one. This game might have been the talk of the show. A lot of people have been really hyping up this announcement since it came out, and that's a game called Avowed. So it's a big first-person RPG set in the fantasy world of Aora, which was actually, for those of you that have ever played Pillars of Eternity, this game is going to be taking place in that same universe or world. And a lot of people are already saying it's going to be the next, Elder Scrolls-esque epic RPG game. And a lot of, some people were like, watch out, Elder Scrolls 6. I'm like, okay, let's not go that far. We just saw, a cinematic trailer. But it does look really cool.
Games like this always, I don't know, they don't do a whole lot for me, because the combat kind of gets stale for me. But I was probably more interested in this game just for the little cinematic we've gotten, and just some of the screenshots and other things I've looked up with this game, than I have been with Elder Scrolls or game. I mean, Dark Souls is different, but I always kind of just clump those two together because they're kind of like those slasher game, hack and slash, fantasy based games. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what we get a little bit more out of it. What is going to be kind of the like this game's important aspect is gonna be like how difficult it is. It'd be about the loot, the story, the world, the build, like the world building to it. You know, what is gonna be kind of the big parts to it. I'm kind of excited to see a little bit more about this game.
For me, like I kind of got sold on it and I've never really cared for doing magic stuff in Elder Scrolls games, but when he's walking in that cave with a sword, and then you see his like an enemy coming, and his hand just like starts to lighten up with some spell. I'm like, okay, that looks sick. I'm in.
Yeah, this game definitely will be very visually pleasing, I believe, because something that does kind of push me off Elder Scrolls is, I mean, again, I like, oh my goodness, who makes Fallout games? I can't even think right now. Bethesda. I really love Bethesda, but the graphics aren't that great. And this looks like it could be kind of the elevated graphics of an Elder Scrolls type game. Don't get me wrong, Elder Scrolls 6 might be at a completely different world, completely different level. Unreal Engine 5, crazy stuff that they might be doing. So we'll definitely see. However, though, this game is definitely what I've always kind of wanted those graphics to look like, for just, again, the little snippets of visual stuff that we've seen through screenshots and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely probably the bigger surprise of the show. So once Obsidian wrapped up their little portion of the show, they went over some of the kind of the like not smaller, but like in more indie studios that they've acquired and their games that they're working on. So just going through them, a game called As Dusk Falls got announced. It's a studio from a new studio from one of the lead designers of Quantic Dream, which are the people that made Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, those games. And it's going to be an interactive, narrative-based drama that spans multiple generations, apparently. It looks very interesting. The art style is very cool and interesting as well. It's one of those things where it's more of, if you're into the interactive narratives, like a Detroit Become Human, like a Until Dawn, it's definitely up your alley. Going through the next couple games, there was Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. That they didn't really show off anything new with the game. They just kind of explained how they developed the setting of the game, and they actually went to Iceland and helped digitally render actual places in Iceland for the game, which sounds actually really cool because Iceland's a beautiful country. Then you had Psychonauts 2 got a new trailer. They actually showed that they've actually been working with Jack Black as one of the voices of the game, which is really cool. Then they announced that the next Destiny 2 expansion, Beyond Light, Destiny 2 is going to come to Game Pass in September. And it says here, which will give subscribers access to all standard edition versions of every Destiny 2 expansion so far. It says when Destiny 2 Beyond Light goes live in November, the standard edition of Beyond Light will be included in Game Pass. So you're going to play every single piece of Destiny with Game Pass, which is...
It's pretty worth.
Ridiculous. Yeah. I don't understand how they make this work. Like, there's no... Like, how are you making money, bro? I don't get it. Okay, so... The next game we're going to kind of roll through here. Stalker 2 got revealed as a console launch exclusive for the Xbox Series X. Warhammer 40k Darktide, which is made by the people who did Vermintide, but it's going to be more of a shooter-based game, a la Left 4 Dead. It's going to be a 4-player co-op horde, adventure game. Then they announced a new version of Tetris Effect.
Hey, I'm so excited for Warhammer 40k Darktide. Honestly, like I've been wanting more of the shooter aspect of Warhammer, and I just want to say this will definitely be a game I'll be keeping a close eye on. That I just love the Warhammer 40k franchise, and I want to see them have just a great game that can kind of blow up a little more. I think Vermintide did pretty well for the most part, but I would love to see Darktide kind of just take over at that point. That'd be fantastic. But sorry, continue. I'm just so excited.
No, you're good, man. I love like those 4-player co-op, just like the horde shooters, like the Left 4 Deads and things like that. Like I was just telling you about when stream was down about World War Z. Like I really like those style of games. I just love seeing the racking up the kill counts and like trying to get top leaderboards for the mission. It's fun. It's fun. It's like, because the games aren't super difficult, but it has its own like little competitive part of it to where you want to be at the top of all the stats. So kind of going through the next couple, Tetris Effect got a Xbox Series X, I guess enhanced version for it. New game called The Gunk, which is made by the creators of SteamWorld. It's a new 3D action adventure game. A lot of platforming and puzzler elements to it. The Medium, which is their horror game that they gave a new trailer and gameplay for. Phantasy Star Online 2 is getting a new enhanced edition for Xbox Series X in 2021. So if you enjoy the MMO, you'll be able to enjoy it on Series X and I believe PC as well. Crossfire, which is a game that actually piques my interest. It was previously only PC game, and they brought it to Xbox a couple months ago, and they showed off a cinematic trailer for the campaign for the game, and the campaign actually looks really cool. So apparently the campaign's actually even being developed by Remedy, the people that made Control and Alan Wake, two very, very good narrative-driven games. So that one actually kind of piqued my interest a little bit, because it was kind of pegged as just this online, competitive first-person shooter, but now they're adding this really cool story element to it. And I gotta say, it gives me like Black Ops vibes, like those Black Ops Modern Warfare, like good Call of Duty campaign vibes. So it's actually it's something to look out for. And Brandon,
hey,
the announcement I've been waiting for a very long time. They finally announced that Fable, the next game in the Fable franchise, exists. And the reason I had to word it like that is because there are rumors floating about from insiders in the industry that this is not Fable 4. This is an MMO based in the Fable universe.
That just sounds perfect. For like the different things you could do in Fable, for again what I've talked to you guys with, putting that into an MMO is, to me, like when you guys talk about Fable, like the one thing that to me it's missing is just the online aspect. And now being able to put this into an MMO is going to be incredible. Now, when is it going to come out? We don't know. Realistically, for an MMO like Fable, like for a Fable MMO to come out, I'm going to probably expect like 2023, 2025 somewhere. Like MMOs take so long to be made. For all we know, they've been working on it for 2-3 years now, but we'll see.
Yeah, I saw the primary speculation is showing like 2022 for Fable.
Okay.
But it's something we'll have to wait and see on. We didn't get any, actual game footage. We just got an announcement cinematic for it, but it was in the most Fable way possible. If you ever, saw Fable 2 or Fable 1, actually, I think all 3 Fables had this. Something is happening in the trailer, and it's just like showing something in, out in the wilderness, and then an animal just comes in and ruins somebody's day. In this case, it was a little fairy or pixie getting eaten by a giant bullfrog. So classic Fable cinematic trailer. But whatever this game ends up being, whether it is Fable 4 or an MMO, I'm just happy to see it back. If they do go the MMO route, I'm just curious if they're going to be able to keep the essence of Fable 2 and Fable 3, where it's like you can own every single thing in the world pretty much in terms of like the buildings and making income off those buildings and doing all this. And, you know, will they incorporate, you know, the part of Fable 3 where you're the king and you run everything? So will they have that sort of aspect like how Elder Scrolls Online has, you know, you can be the emperor by doing the online competitive stuff? Or is it going to be, you know, a little bit simplified, like players can invest in shops and earn money? Or is it, I don't know. I'm curious. There's so many, you know, things that I have like going through my head as I think of a Fable MMO.
Yeah.
That I'm just curious as to where they would go with it. But I'm just happy we know it's real. You know, it is being made by Playground Games for a long time. I've made a game like this before, but we also got Horizon Zero Dawn from a studio that had only made a first-person shooter in Guerrilla Games and Killzone. So it's not like it's something that would be, you know, out of the realm of possibility for them to do and do really well. But it's just very interesting to see a racer studio turning into a Fable studio.
It's going to be a very exciting journey. I am really excited to kind of see what we'll get from it, what news we'll kind of see in the next few months, maybe a couple of years. A lot of fun.
Alright, so all in all, Brandon, explain your underwhelmed a little bit more.
The underwhelmed was a little bit of the fact of we didn't get anything about Fable outside of that it's happening. I would have liked a confirmation at the event. Yes, this is going to be Fable the MMO, or here's a little gameplay, here's this or that, just a little something to understand what is going to be Fable. Halo, as we kind of mentioned before, graphically didn't blow me away. Nothing in the reveal did I jump out of my chair, freak out, all of us talking about it all week with each other. It was a very like, okay, nothing disappointed me, but nothing really kind of got me excited was the other issue. I mean, yes, Halo's happening. That's awesome. I'm excited for that aspect. And then it's just kind of weird to say, I think one of the games I was most excited about outside of 40K, and again, don't know anything about it really, gameplay wise, just kind of that it's happening, was Grounded. And I didn't even know about that game until the event. So it does kind of say a little something to me that it was none of the huge games, you know, Halo, Fable, Forza. For me, I just can't get into myself. So I don't know. I mean, like, for big events, I mean, even the Sony event, you know, for, you know, the PlayStation news, we were talking about Spider-Man the whole week. We were talking about PlayStation Spider-Man. This event happened. We talked about it for a few hours, like in our group chats and stuff. We even said a word about it. Like, what? Since Tuesday? Well, sorry, the event was Thursday. Yeah, since Thursday. We didn't really talk about it Friday or Saturday at all. So you know, when an event shocks me and surprises me, we talk about it all week. I mean, we're always gaming together. We have 2 or 3 group chats we're all in practically that no one was talking about it. So it was a little underwhelming.
So the reason I say intrigued is because, one, Fable's back, baby. We're back. We're running that. That's huge for me. I literally said, if they announce the Fable for the Xbox, I'm take my money. Yeah. And, you know, when Fable comes out, Xbox is gonna, you know, take my money. Unless it goes the MMO route, then in that case, I might go PC on it. I might. We'll see.
Yeah,
a lot of variables.
Would. Yeah, that's right.
A lot of variables to that one. But I think the thing that, you know, the reason I say intrigued with this is that with the PlayStation, you know, showcase, we did see a lot of games. We saw, I think, more games, a few more games in PlayStations than we saw on Microsoft. Both showed off a lot of stuff, but that's kind of beside the point. But PS4, it felt like there was a lot of just like filler games, like games that, you know, aren't really backed that much by Sony. You know, there's a couple narrative experiences from like studios I'd never heard of before. There's a game about a stray cat that was in there, which is funny, but like, you know, what is that? So whereas Xbox, it was Halo. State of Decay is a really good franchise. Forza is a good franchise. You know, Everwild from Rare, who's one of the longest running studios out there. You know, you got something from Don't Nod. The people did Life is Strange. That's, you know, it's up for so many awards. Ori and the Will of the Wisp up for so many awards. You got an update on Outer Worlds. You got Grounded, which is a great surprise announcement. Avowed, which is an awesome surprise announcement. As Dusk Falls was probably their most, you know, indie feeling title, and even that had a lot of cool, you know, ideas surrounding it. And, you know, Hellblade, Psychonauts, you know, the announcement of Destiny being on Game Pass is huge. Stalker 2 is, you know, the original Stalker is one of those huge cult PC classics that everybody's been dying to get a sequel for. To your point, Warhammer, you know, all of these games, like, they're almost every game they announced felt like it had a lot of weight and excitement to it. Whereas the PlayStation show, there was a lot of games I'm like, okay, can we get to the next thing? Like, even that new IP that they announced, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was sort of like Hellblade, but a futuristic setting. It was like Eternum or something like that. Or Eternal, I think. Returnal, maybe? Anyways, like, there was nothing that I was like, man, that was hype. Like, for me, like, we knew Miles Morales, or we knew a new Spider-Man was coming. We knew a new Horizon Zero Dawn was coming. And yeah, we knew Halo was coming, but there's a lot of things suggesting that Fable was coming, but, you know, it just felt like there was a lot more games that had more substance to them and a lot more excitement to them than the PlayStation one. So that's why I say intrigued, because most of the games on there, I was kind of, you know, I was pretty tuned in to pretty much every trailer that they showed.
Which I can definitely appreciate that. And I think when it comes down to my underwhelming, it's because I am really basing that off of the games I was expected to hear about or the games I knew about. If we take that out of the conclusion and you would ask me what did I think of the games that were not Halo or getting, of course, any Fable news, I think it was great then. It really was. And like I said, Grounded really surprised me. I am intrigued. State of Decay, don't really know a whole lot about, but again, I mean, if I had people to play with, I would be interested in that. There are definitely more games in this reveal that I would be, you know, okay purchasing, or at least will do a little more research on before I decide yes or no than I will from the Sony one. Sony's Spider-Man is really the game I'm definitely gonna want to play at some point. So,
Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah, Gran Turismo. I do like the Gran Turismo franchise, so that is fair. So as a whole, yes, this was a very good showcase. I was just a little underwhelmed when it really came to Halo and not getting any real Fable news. So yeah.
And they did say there's going to be more, including multiplayer talks with Halo coming in the next couple months.
Good.
But I do agree. I feel like we should have gotten more of Halo for a game that's going to be out in 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
I think there should have been more there. It is what it is, man.
What it is.
All right, so that is everything we have, you guys, for top 5 gaming news stories of the week. So always, once we wrap up what the top 5 gaming news stories of the week, we always send it over to Cute Boy and talk some movies and such, and a little diddly doodad that we like to call
Report from the back row!
Ooh, skip. Manny?
Skiddly-doo.
It was good. You know, we talked about a lot today. It's been, you know, minus the little technical difficulties, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes of the show today. It's been a beefy show. Talked a lot of, you know, Rocket League news, some Ubisoft, Ubisoft, I said it, Ubisoft, with the second forward coming, Xbox Showcase, G4TV, and then some really great news from Sony giving us a little money in our pockets with the PSN summer sale coming up.
No money in my pocket, you like.
Ah, you're right. Sorry, our digital wallets. That being said, Forrest, there is some really cool news, really sad news. We're going to start off with The Boys. The Boys is a show I really loved the first season. Season 2 comes out early September. I want to say September 4th. Not even out yet. No, I don't think anyone's even been able to watch it yet. Season 3 was already confirmed, which is really exciting to me because it shows that this show might really last. For me, you know, if that show hits that 3rd season and can do well, we might see it on for a good like 7 to 10 years. So that's really, I love that because The Boys is great. There's a lot of content they could do with it. You know, they're open to whatever they want. So it's really good to see this show getting the love I believe it deserves. Now we're going to go on to some negative news. Quiet Place 2 has been delayed to 2021 April. That shocked me. It was very upsetting. I know you and Adam are huge fans of First Quiet Place, and this one